Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily if it is your first time here, and in today's video we are going to be going through the next rotation of my Shop My Stash. I've said it before, but I'm saying it again. These are my favorite videos to film. I don't know why, I just like have such an enjoyable time filming these, and this makeup look turned out really good and I'm very obsessed with it, and I love all the products that are in this next rotation and I'm excited to get into it. So I think first we are going to chat about the stuff that I'm going to be taking out. So the single shadow that I had in this rotation was a Cliona Jeweled Multi-Chrome in the shade Anil. It looked like this. I did not use this as much as I thought it was going to. I kind of found it a little bit hard to work with, which is a little bit disappointing because I was like so excited for this shade, but you know. But I did incorporate it into a few looks and I did enjoy the looks that I came up with using it. For my one and done shadow, I had the Colourpop Super Shock shadow in the shade Ritz. Mine is breaking and also starting to dry out just a little bit, which sucks, but you know, what are you gonna do? But it still performs relatively normal. It just feels a little bit drier. I use this quite often as a topper. This is one of my favorite topper shades in my collection. I recently did a video on all the topper shadows that I have in my collection. If you didn't check that out, I would definitely recommend it. It is a big, long video. Alright, for my black eyeliner, I had the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade 0. It was nice. It was nice and creamy. It was easy to blend out. For a smoky liner on the top lash line, for my colored eyeliner, I had the NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick in the shade Periwinkle Pop. This is a really fun, like, light, shimmery, almost silver looking liner that I wore in my waterline, basically exclusively. For my mascara, I had the Beauty For Real High Def Mascara, and I love this mascara so much more than I thought that I did, and so much more than I thought that I would when I first got this in, I believe, a BoxyCharm. The wand on this mascara is very, very small, but I find that it's so easy to just like get up into your lashes and really like wiggle the brush from the root to the tip. It really lifts my lashes. It definitely did smudge and transfer on me just a little bit. Nothing like terrible, but it definitely did like smudge and transfer. For my eyebrows, I had my Patrick Ta Shaping Wax, the tinted version. Love it. I seriously am almost done with it. I have used this so much. It is just my absolute favorite like brow setting product. It is just, it's so good. For my face primer, I was using this little like deluxe sample of the Fresh Lotus Youth Preserve Dream Face Cream. It worked really beautifully. I used about half of the little sample up. I still have some left. My foundation was the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation, which I really loved getting some use out of this. This is not as full coverage as I once thought that it was, but I don't mind that. I am not like a huge lover of like super full coverage foundations, so I did enjoy this, and this is probably the best shade match for me out of all the foundations that I have in my collection. The concealer that I was using was my RMS Beauty Cover Up Concealer. I still enjoy this concealer, and obviously I'm like gonna keep it in my collection until I use it up. What I will say about it is that because it is so creamy and like emollient, it is kind of hard to set down and it doesn't stay set throughout the day. Typically with the concealer, I can kind of like set it and forget it, but with this one, it definitely does like start to look dewy on my under eyes, which is strange because like I don't have dry under eyes, but I don't have like oily under eyes. They're under eyes, you know, like they just are normal. It was strange that it would start to move around and like look oily throughout the day. So that is just something that I kind of had to remember to like work with. The loose powder that I was using was my Maybelline Fit Me Loose finishing powder. This is actually currently in my project pan. I only have that much powder left. I am so close to being done with that, and I am excited to use it up so that I can either replace it or repurchase it. I have not decided yet, but I have had that specific exact one for way too long. So I'm just kind of excited to see it gone. For my all over face setting powder, I had my, oh, I almost dropped it, my Becca Light Shifter Finishing Veil in the shade Scattering 1. This, I really enjoy this powder and I love the way that it looks on my face, but it is starting to get, I don't even know what to call it. It's not like it's hard pan, but I guess it's hard pan. It's like when I have my brush and I dip my brush in there and swirl it on my face to like set down my face, and then I dip my brush back in there, any oils or like wetness from my face, when it gets into this powder, it then like creates a coating on it, which really sucks because then it like makes it more difficult to like pick up the product, and it's such a beautiful powder. I'm gonna see if I can do the tape trick to kind of get some of that hard pan off. If not, I'm just gonna keep using it and trying to make it work because I really do enjoy that powder. For my bronzer, I have this little mini of the NARS Laguna bronzer, and I actually, funnily enough, pulled the NARS Laguna and Orgasm Blush duo for my bronzer for this rotation. So I'm having the NARS Laguna bronzer 2 rotations in a row, which I'm not like complaining about because I do enjoy that bronzer, but I just thought it was quite funny, I guess. For my blush, I had my Ciate London Marbled Light Blush in the shade Halo. This blush is so pretty. It's kind of like a bronzer shade, like kind of a bronzery blush shade. It has a little bit of a glow to it. I swatched it out like right here, you can kind of see it. It is such a beautiful blush, and it applies really intensely on the cheeks, which I didn't think that it did when I went into using that blush, but then it ended up applying like pretty, like, you know. So I really have been enjoying that blush. And then for my highlight, I was using the Auric Beauty Glow Lust in the shade Selenite. This is my favorite highlight, luminizer, face primer, everything that I have in my collection. It is perfection. This is probably my favorite makeup product that I own. It is perfect, everything I've ever wanted. I cannot say enough good things about that. My lip liner was the St. Luxe lip liner in the shade Love Letter. This was in my project pan for a minute there, and then it was also in my Shop My Stash. I really like this lip liner. When I first got these, the formula was super stiff and kind of hard to apply, but as I've used it more, it's like, it's almost like there was like a weird coating on it that was preventing it from like applying nicely. As I've used it, that coating has like kind of come off, and it's turned into a really nice kind of creamier lip liner. It's not overly creamy, but it definitely has a little bit more of a creaminess to it. The lipstick that I was using was the Colourpop Lippie Stix in the shade Parachute. I did not use this all that often. It is like a really bright kind of like orangey red shade, and I do love these shades, but I think the reason I just didn't use it as much was because I currently have the YSL Rouge Pour Couture lipstick in the shade Le Rouge in my project pan, which is a red lipstick, and I think I was just like leaning towards using that one more. But I did use this a couple of times, and I do really enjoy the color. And then last but not least, the lip gloss that I had in this rotation was the Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip in the shade Queen Cobra. This is like the most glittery, beautiful lip gloss I have ever used. It added the most beautiful sparkle to the lips. I love a sparkly lip gloss. I love all lip glosses equally, but like a sparkly lip gloss just like has a special place in my heart. So I loved being able to use this. So now we are going to move on to the new products that I will be bringing in. So to start, for my eye primer, I am going back to the Alamar Cosmetics Pero Primero eye primer. I love that primer. It is probably the best eye primer that I have ever tried. Once I use up my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer and I end up going through that one, I will most definitely be repurchasing it. It just keeps my eyeshadow on for such a long time and prevents creasing. I have super oily eyelids and I just cannot sing its praises enough. The single shadow that I'm pulling in is from Tracy's Powder Room, and it is this multi-chrome, another multi-chrome in the shade Mad Butterflies. You can't really see the shift all that well in the pan, but let me do like, we'll do a finger swatch first, and then you can like start seeing that shift. But then when I swatch it, it is so pretty, and obviously it is the shade that I have all over my eyelids, and it's just so stunning. I'm unbelievably excited to have this as my single shadow. I love multi-chromes and I am working on expanding my collection of them, so I'm just excited to be able to play around with that a bunch. The one and done shadow that I have is a Colourpop Super Shock, surprise surprise, and it is the shade Set to Stun. This is the oldest Super Shock that I have in my collection, and it looks real rough, but it is such a pretty shade. It has a little bit of a pink base, but then it just has a bunch of like colorful glitters in it, and I think it is absolutely stunning. The black eyeliner that I'm pulling in is my Queen Studios Dragon Wax Liner. This was just in my project pan, and as you will remember from my project pan update, I'm not like the biggest fan of this liner, so I'm not like super excited to have it in this rotation, but I have really been enjoying like doing like a smoky liner wing recently, like more than like a pristine liner look. So I am excited to have this type of liner, like a pencil liner in here, but just like not this one specifically. I'm gonna use it, I'll make it work. No big deal. The colored liner that I'm pulling it in is the Colourpop BFF Creme Gel Liner in the shade Big Splash. This is like a really light kind of pastel blue liner. I swatched it right there next to the shadow. I think that those two are actually gonna pair well together. The shadow has a little bit of a blue shift to it, like a blue-green shift, so I think that wearing that liner paired, well, I'm wearing it today, you can't really see it in my waterline, but I just think it like they look well together. They look okay together. That's what I was trying to say. The mascara that will be in here is the Victoria Beckham Beauty Future Lash Mascara. I enjoy this mascara so far. I haven't really worn it like all that much, but from what I can tell, I enjoy it. I definitely don't think it's going to be my favorite mascara in my collection. It takes a little bit of building to get my lashes to look how I like them to look. That's not something that necessarily bothers me, but like it's not my favorite thing in the world when I have other mascaras that I can just kind of like doop doop and my lashes look amazing. I don't think my lashes look bad with this mascara. It just takes a little bit of work. So hopefully I can kind of like figure out a way to apply this in this rotation that makes me like the mascara a little bit more than I currently do. All right, moving on to complexion products. I'm going to start with face primer. I don't know what else I would have started with, but I have the Smashbox, the Original Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer. This is a silicone based primer. These are not my favorite primers just because the feeling of them, like they make me feel weird and I just don't really like applying them, but I've actually had this like tiny little sample for such a long time now, and it's definitely like expired and way past its due date. Like it should probably not be in my collection. It probably should not go on my face, but I like am like, it's so small, why can't I use it up? So I want to use it up. Maybe in this rotation I will be able to. I'm not going to set my hopes like too high, but I'm wanting to see some good progress on this. For my foundation, I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. I don't really get a whole lot of use out of this one. Since I've gotten it, I probably have not worn it more than like 10 times. which makes me a little bit sad because this is such a stunning foundation. It makes my face look beautiful. Obviously it's the one I'm wearing right now, and I really like this foundation, so I'm wanting to get some use out of it. For my concealer, I'm going to be doing the Revlon Photoready Candid Antioxidant Concealer. When I was applying this today, I was just reminded of how much I love this concealer. It blends out like a dream. It isn't overly like dewy, so when I blend it out, it is like a little bit more matte on my under eyes, but not matte like the Maybelline, can't think of what it's called. Not matte like the Maybelline Master Concealer. It's a little bit, I don't even want to say dewier because it's like definitely not a dewy concealer, but it just has a little bit more life to it than that one does. But it still makes my under eyes look so nice. It doesn't make them look heavy or crepey, so again, I'm excited to be using that one. My loose setting powder is going to be the Ciate London Everyday Vacay Coconut Setting Powder. I really like this powder. It's a very finely milled powder. The most comparable thing to it in my collection is probably the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Micro Finishing Loose Powder. But obviously, like, that one is like the most smoothing, like delicious, like it makes my under eyes and face look so nice. This one is similar to it, but not as like extreme smoothing and blurring as that one, but I am excited to use this more. I actually don't have a ton of this left, so maybe that will end up in a project pan at some point. For my all over face setting powder, I have a powder from a brand that I don't really support because of their lack of inclusivity, but it is from the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Mini Sculpture Unlocked palette, and it is the Soft Light Finishing Powder, which is this one right here. It's a really pretty powder. I don't think it's anything too special, but I wouldn't say I'm like looking forward to having it in here just because Hourglass is not a brand that I am currently supporting, but it's what I'm gonna be using. Like I said, I ended up pulling in another NARS Laguna. This is from a blush and bronzer duo. It has the Orgasm blush and the Laguna bronzer. So I'm going to just be using the Laguna bronzer. For my blush, I'm super excited for my blush. You may have noticed I'm extra blushy today, a little bit extra glowy in the blush department, and that is because the blush that is in this rotation is my Tower 28 Beach Please blush in the shade Rush Hour. This is one of my favorite blush formulas. I kind of feel like I've developed a love-hate relationship with cream blushes. A lot of cream blushes I feel like don't pack much of a punch to them. They kind of lack pigment. I did swatch it out right here. They kind of like lack pigment. You apply them on your cheek and you feel like you have to put so much on just to be able to like see that you're wearing blush. But this one has so much pigment to it. It's like I can dip my little cream blush brush in there one time and put it on and it's like blush, you know? So I am just so excited to be able to use this. I just realized I completely skipped over eyebrows, but I'm bringing back my CoverGirl Natural Lash Clear Mascara for my brow gel. For my highlighter, I'm bringing in this K-Gloss Haylighter Luminous Highlighter Palette, and I'm going to be using the shade here in the middle called Spice. See, I say pink, but it doesn't really look pink. Obviously it's the highlight I'm wearing on my face, so I guess I wouldn't really know how to describe it, but maybe like champagne. It's like a nice champagne, but this is champagne. Like obviously it's more pink than this, but I wouldn't say that it's like pink. Like I have some pink highlighters. Pink is this lipstick, pink is this eyeshadow. This is like, I don't know, but it's like a cool toned highlighter, you know? And then finishing off with the lips, I'm going to have my NYX Lip Pencil in the shade Pumpkin. It is this kind of reflective, like bright orange lip liner. It is the lip liner I'm wearing, and I actually think that it pairs really well with the lipstick that I pulled, which is my Colourpop Luxe Matte Lipstick in the shade Name Drop, which is this peachy pink lipstick. Obviously is currently what I have on my lips. but I think that they pair really well together because this is more of like a peachier pink warm toned lipstick. And then the whole lip combo just works so well together and is so pretty. I just threw the lip gloss. The lip gloss that I pulled is my little mini Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jelly in the shade XOXO. This is like a bright fiery red, and I've been talking for a while now, so it's probably worn off a little bit. But it kind of just makes this lip combo like pull a little bit more pink, which I don't necessarily dislike. I think it actually is such a pretty little combo, so I'm excited to be able to wear that more throughout the next couple of weeks. And then, you know, keeping with my Item Beauty setting spray, the One Hit setting spray. I actually didn't put any on when I was doing my makeup, so I'm just gonna do that right now. So that is everything in my current bag and everything from my last bag. So let's jump into the makeup look using everything that I pulled for my new rotation. that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. These are genuinely some of my favorite videos to film on my channel. I have already posted like close up pictures of the makeup look that I did in this video on my Instagram. If you want to go follow me there, it is at Emily Catherine Beauty. I will have it down in the description box in case you need the spelling. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe before you go. It would mean so much to me, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!